Hello and welcome to the Disney Fanboy Cast presented by PlayStation. Sorry, wrong one. Hi guys, this is episode 1 of No Load Time. How are you guys? My name is Obed, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's up, No Load Time? Good to be with you here again for episode 41. Just like Obed said, it's the Disney PlayStation sponsored, not sponsored podcast. We're so glad to have you guys here with us. Obed, what's good, man?
Not much, man. It's been busy. I'm glad that we're gonna have a long weekend this weekend because I am exhausted. It's been a very heavy work week, so I'm looking forward to getting my time, some time for myself and being able to relax, chill out, have no plans for the weekend whatsoever. Maybe hang out with the family later in the weekend. But so far, man, I'm just looking forward to going back into Dragon Ball this weekend. I haven't done it in about 3 weeks. Went back and did some more Battlefront with a new progression that they released, and I gotta say that they really fixed it. It's good. So looking forward to putting some more time on that and going back into Dragon Ball over the weekend and maybe some Final Fantasy. I'm still hooked up on that, and that update, it's really good. So looking forward to spending a little bit more time on that. But I know that it was your birthday and you did something pretty cool over the weekend. So I want to hear about that.
I did, man. So it's no secret. Love Star Wars. We all love Star Wars here, right? We have different opinions about the movies. Yeah, Obed's got his Star Wars shirt on. We love our Star Wars. So I said, there's a new thing that just came out in our area. I should say just came out. I think it was around December that came out on the release of Last Jedi. There's a place called The Void in Central Florida, and this is a place where it's a VR experience, kind of like a maze thing where you have these VR headsets, but where usually when you're doing VR, you're kind of in a stationary, one room kind of thing, staying one place. This is a VR experience, takes it further immersive, where you're actually physically walking through spaces, and it's synchronized, matched up with what you're seeing in your with your headset. So a lot of fun. They have a Star Wars Galactic story. It's about a half an hour, and so that's what I went and did. And I gotta tell you, if you're a Star Wars nut, like, this is a must. I'm just being real. Like, this is as close as you get to living out your fantasy of actually being in Star Wars. Like, you feel like you're in Star Wars. You're wearing, you're a clone trooper, or are you a clone trooper? I'm not gonna spoil the story. But as you're looking at your hands, just like any other VR thing, you are this character. Everybody around you is these characters. As you walk through, it looks as if you're standing right in front of these characters. You could basically reach out. In fact, there was one particular droid that I said, man, this droid's right here next to me. Let me reach out and touch it. And there's something actually there that I'm reaching out and touching and feeling. Like, it's not like just a projection, like you're actually feeling this stuff. So it's really immersive. There's when you're wearing this strap-on vest on top of the headset, the vest is there because it actually emits heat when you're around hot areas. So and when you're getting shot, you feel that that haptic feedback, right? So you feel those shocks on your chest as if you're getting shot, around. And it really does come in handy having all these senses to make you really feel as if you're in this thing, and it all comes to use. So I'm not gonna spoil. There's a really from the beginning, when I found out what the actual story is and they debrief you on, hey, this is what you're actually going to be doing, and you have this cool video telling you, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to see this one particular character. Not going to say what it is for those of you who might do it, but I really recommend it. I knew it was going to be this character, and when this character shows up, I thought it was going to be the end just because of this character showing up. I said, well, I'm going to go out this way. It'd be the best way to go out. Nice. But of course, it ends, like any other Star Wars, it ends with you moving onwards and upwards with hope, and they really did a great job. So I highly recommend it, man. But I have a fun story for you, Obed. After I'm done doing this experience, I'm talking to somebody, just casual conversation that I've never just met this person for the first time, whatever, right? And the guy's talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, so what did you think about The Last Jedi?" And I was like, Oh, okay. This guy's opening up a can of worms here because, he said it kind of like, I don't know what the best word to say, but he kind of said it in a way that you could tell he didn't have the best feelings towards it,
Yeah,
right?
kind of like a sarcastic tone, probably.
Yeah, very reluctant, right? And so I said, honestly, I think this movie is a good movie. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest Star Wars movie or anything like that. It's a good. I think it's a good Star Wars movie. I think it's an interesting Star Wars movie. I think a lot of people overreacted to it. Is exactly what I told them. I said because it wasn't what they were expecting, and that's just because as Star Wars fans, it's hard to please. But I said to his own. It's fair that if you don't like it, but as for me, I like it, and I think some people overreacted just because it wasn't what they were expecting. This guy starts going off on all the stuff he hated about it, and Obed, I don't know if you've talked to anybody that really doesn't like this movie yet. They're out there. We know what we see on the internet, right? But and all the encounters that I've had, this is again another example I've had. This person just meeting them now straight out of the blue, not actually knowing them. It feels as if when they're making these complaints, it feels as if they're almost reading a script. Like it feels as if there's I don't know who or what's going around. Maybe someone's passing notes or something, but it feels as if it's like they have to hit these bullet points or something. Like this is bad, this is bad, this is not good, this is disastrous, this is whatever. And it just doesn't feel genuine, and it feels like you're a Star Wars fan. Why are you drinking this Kool-Aid? Like, are you sure this is actually your opinion?
Yeah, it was like when same example that we always give is Batman versus Superman, right? It was very, very divisive, and most critics didn't like it, but the audience was very divided. A lot of the people liked it. I think that we can agree that we liked it. But there was a lot of people that really hated it. But Star Wars was even more divisive because it's an even more passionate fan base.
Right. And so he's going off on this whole thing. So I just kind of, as I told you, Obed, this is a movie that I will debate for just because I think that it's fair for you not to like the movie for reasons that are just general. Like, for example, I've had some people who said, hey, I didn't like that there wasn't a lot of lightsaber action or duels or something. That's a fair argument. To me, if you don't like that, like that's valid, right? That's not your typical bullet point, as I'm trying to say. That's like a separate valid argument. But these guys are going off some other stuff that I feel like if you're saying these things, you're saying these things undo Star Wars. But if you really know Star Wars, it doesn't actually undo. Just might change your perspective on is what I would say. And we've gone to that other episodes. But long story short, the guy then starts to take into another movie that we just talked about recently. And he goes, yeah, like he goes, I don't understand how people like this movie. He goes, but but yet they don't like Justice League. I thought Justice League was a great movie. And I said, and I thought to myself, I win. Like, I win.
Your argument is invalid.
By default, if you say that movie's a great movie, I win. Like, it's over. I mean, again, I'm not saying Justice League is a disaster. I was on the record when I first saw it, and I came out of review. I said, actually, it was actually better than what I was expecting. I expected a really bad train wreck. But that movie is not a great movie. I'm sorry. If you put that in a great level, you're drinking the wrong Kool-Aid, man. So I just thought that was a funny story for you, man. Justice League is a great movie, and The Last Jedi is a terrible movie.
Oh yeah. By the way, we're cashing those Last Jedi coins right now, right, Joe?
That's right, Obed. Sold them up.
Yeah. So. No, I mean that's a great story. I haven't had a chance to actually have a conversation with anyone else about Justice League, but I went back and started watching spoiler stuff because I kept myself relatively spoiler free for that movie. Yeah. So I went back and on YouTube and started watching like spoiler stuff and like this guy's that do a great job with the honest trailers, yeah. So I went and watched that, and it was spot on. It was exactly the same gripes that I had with the movie, and it just the movie feels disjointed and not a lot of the trailer stuff was cut out, and yeah, so the same points that I talked about last week, right? I'm not gonna go over all of that again. And I did watch the. I don't know if you're familiar, Joel, with the Hishi series, the how it should have ended.
Oh yeah, those are good. Yeah,
they did a really good one for The Last Jedi, and to be honest with you, Joel, if The Last Jedi would have ended the way that they portrayed it on this Hishi video, this movie would have been above and beyond what it was. I think
wow.
I think The Last Jedi was a good movie,
Right.
but they really got creative with how it should have ended. And if they would have done that, seen that on screen, what they did, it's like that would have been pretty freaking sick, man.
I love how it should have ended, man. So I'll definitely have to check that out. Their videos are great.
Yeah, they're really good videos, and they're spot on. Like most of their videos are, just making fun of certain scenes, but then like the actual part where how it should have ended, they take it seriously, and it's actually very creative, and they were spot on with that. And I think that it actually addressed the two gripes that I had with The Last Jedi, with which we went into spoiler territory. If you guys want to check that out, it was back in mid-December, but I think it's a good movie. I can't wait to see it again over the weekend, and have I guess a fresher look at it.
Second time around, it's better. I tell you that much.
A lot of people that saw it more than once in the theater said it's like, yeah, by the second time is you really understand what they're trying to do. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. Joel, I know that we have some news, and we had some breaking news today from Marvel Comics. So if you want to go ahead and start with that, man.
Yeah, so Marvel Comics on Wednesday put out a little tease that they're going to make an announcement on Thursday saying it was something to release in relation to their comics, something new that was going to be coming out. Had 4 insignias on it, but it was something that you could have speculated. Oh, is it some type of Avengers comic or something? That actually took us in a different direction. There was a special reveal video with one of the comic creators, and he basically, I forget his name now. Unfortunately, I know who he is, and you guys can shoot it out to me in the comment section. But he basically was saying that they are officially bringing back Fantastic Four, their comics for a while. That they had shut those down. They had also shut down, as we know, the XMen comics, the Wolverine comics, and just put the Inhumans kind of more on the forefront. And that was mixed reviews. With this, they're now saying no. They had already earlier on said that the X-Men were coming back, Wolverine was coming back. Now they're officially saying the Fantastic Four are coming back as comic book characters. And so that's a good sign, indicative of just them as a business. Obviously, we know what happened from a studio standpoint between Disney and Fox. I think now this is just now, and we'll go into with another of our stories, but I think this is now some of the domino effect where they're saying we don't have to now punish the competition because that we've already gotten these pieces back, and we can put these characters with good comics that promote with whatever their plans are in the future. And you got to admit, Obed, you think the Fantastic Four is probably going to do a lot more than what they're doing in the comics. It's probably going to also translate into other areas as well. So good to have Fantastic Four back. I'm hoping to pick up the first issue. I would recommend it to any comic book nerds out there. Whenever they do these reboots or refreshes of bringing a character back, a revival of them, it's really a great opportunity to go out and buy an original copy. Just say, hey, I got the first copy of when Fantastic Four came back.
Yeah, and I also read somewhere today that Inhumans was ending, right?
Yes. So they have the Death of the Inhumans series that's been coming on. What that fully means, I mean, I can't imagine it being that something that's gone forever, but I just think is that they're not going to spend their resources on that comic, and they're going to instead put on the ones that are more A-listers, and that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And the interesting thing is that Fantastic Four has been out for, man, I think like 10 years, right? It's been out for a while.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. Yeah, they've been punishing them in a sense.
Yeah, I think it was like after the Cloudfire Galactus movie.
Right.
That's. I remember when they said it was like, oh yeah, Marvel's going to take a break on Fantastic Four, and then a few years later they said, oh, they're going to take a break on X-Men, and then everyone, figured it out that it was very obvious that there were some issues with Fox and licensing, and they wanted to, I would say, downgrade those properties. That way Fox was able to give them back, I guess. But Fox was able to keep up with X-Men pretty well, if you ask me. Fantastic Four, not so much.
No.
And Joel, one thing that I forgot to mention on the previous comments, last week I was talking about the DCEU best to worst movies. I totally forgot about Suicide Squad.
I know I brought it up to you after the show.
Yeah, you did, because that movie's so awful that it's like, man, that movie's like way below. They could probably do whatever they want to do, and that movie would probably be still down there. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry.
It's probably better than the Last Jedi.
Gotta be honest,
right, Obed?
I'm sorry, what?
It's probably better than the Last Jedi, right, Obed?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a superhero team up, and it's very dark and edgy. Yeah.
Oh
man.
Sorry, guys, not trying to put the shade.
Yeah, exactly.
Just having fun.
Yeah. But we do have some news on X-Men, Joe, that Fox decided to delay Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants. Dark Phoenix, I believe, is going to be for around 3 to 4 months. New Mutants is almost a year delayed. And that movie is going to get pretty much reshot almost entirely. And then I'm assuming that Dark Phoenix is going to have some reshoots as well. So what do you think about that, man?
I think this is purely a business thing. From what we've heard from Stephen Weintraub, he was kind of the one who broke the scoop on what really happened behind the scenes, what's been going on right now. And the belief is that when it comes to X-Men Dark Phoenix, they had screened it maybe a month ago. And when they screened it, they already knew there was some stuff that they wanted to do some different shoots on to add to the movie. But then when people saw this, the executives, it kind of cemented that fate of like, yeah, you need to make sure you get out there and add some more stuff to this. There's some things that needs to be maybe removed and replaced. So that's kind of cemented. But the thing you have to realize is that a lot of the cast in this movie, James McAvoy, Sophie Turner, Jennifer Lawrence, like they're very popular actors, actresses. They can't just stop doing whatever projects they are and just start shooting this next X-Men. So, you got people doing Game of Thrones and all these other things, right? So they knew that they would have to be able to maybe film. It's like September, October. And if the movie's supposed to come out in November, there's just no way it was going to get done at that release date, at least in a good fashion. And smart on Fox to push it off. I know people are speculating, oh, this means that they're going to go and put an MCU connection. I would say wait. I'm not saying that that's not what it is, but I'm not going to be premature and say that is what it is. I think regardless, they knew what they were going to do. And in this case versus the New Mutants, we hear a lot of times additional photography, right? And then we hear reshoots. There's a vast difference. This movie, X-Men Dark Phoenix, is getting additional photography. New Mutants is basically reshoots. It's almost 50% of the movie is basically being reshot, which is why it's going to take an extra year. So again, same thing with cast schedules that they're saying, to get them in to make the movie. The movie apparently wasn't scary, that scary enough or that scary. And remember, if you've watched any of the trailers, it's been promoted as a horror film. So if it's not really scary, then it's like, okay, this is the X-Men movie that's supposed to be scary but not scary. They said that we're going to add in one, maybe two characters is what's being believed. Who they are, we don't know. I'm not sure yet if even New Mutants is going to come out at this point, in my opinion, just because by the time that it's supposed to be released, basically the rights will have been fully transferred over, should at least expect it to be transferred over to Marvel, and Marvel may just let it come out, or they might just say, we'll bite the bullet, lose the money on the studio, but it's okay because we know we could have a $1 billion property with X-Men when it's under Marvel Studios with what we've seen with Black Panther and other heroes. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it, Obed, and the gist of what's going on there.
Yeah, I think there's like very, very low hype for New Mutants. I watched that trailer and it was interesting, but it didn't do anything for me. I still have very high hopes for Dark Phoenix, and I was looking forward to it for this year. And unfortunately, now I have to wait on the 3 months. So the new release dates are February 14th for Dark Phoenix and February 22. I'm sorry, August 2nd for New Mutants of 2019. And I think that Marvel is stirring the pot there. They're making some moves. The way that some of the Deadpool 2 additional photography rumors are coming in makes me believe that Marvel's already involved to some extent in this project, and they may be able to either squeeze in additional heroes or characters, or it it could be that they could definitely make some significant changes to it. So I guess we'll see. We'll find out later. I think I had mentioned that I was looking forward to that Dark Phoenix trailer to drop during not Infinity War, but during Ant-Man when it runs during the summer. So now we'll have to probably wait until anything else that comes in November. Maybe is Aquaman still for November?
Aquaman's still for November, but I would say, Obed, I would still think that they would put something of a tease out there. Probably just going to be a very rough tease, kind of like how the first Guardians of the Galaxy trailer was more of a rough tease.
The first, yeah, like Venom, which is like very rough.
Especially with Comic-Con coming around, I would think that that's their real opportunity, because if it's going to come out in February, you don't have another Comic-Con to promote it. And if you remember, this last Comic-Con, Fox was not there at all. So of course, with the merger with them, it might be weird, but still, I would expect some type of promotion, even if there's not a panel, some type of, hey, we've dropped this trailer because this movie's coming out, a teaser of some kind. But we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. And keeping with the Marvel theme, Joel, something that had caused me pain during the last few months, it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I talked about it on the podcast. I don't know if you've ever gotten around to playing that story mode. At least do that, because it's dumb fun. That's how I would call it. But going back to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and some of the issues that had risen because of the state of the game and reception, the game not being featured as one of the top games at Evo. There's really no major tournaments. It's not even on the Capcom Pro Tour. So we found out this week, Joel, that there's an agreement between Marvel and Capcom that anytime that the game was shown, and I believe this only applied to marketing material, but it extended to events as well, that the Marvel characters were not going to be portrayed as the ones that were getting damaged or getting hit. So that's why there's a lot of users on Reddit already started scrubbing out all that marketing material and said, yeah, there's like, we scrubbed the marketing material and the commercials, and there's no instance where a Marvel character is getting hit by anything. Anytime that a character is getting hit is one of the Capcom characters. So this was very interesting, and I think this is the reason. I think this is one of the, if not the primary reason, one of the reasons why this game is not being pushed as an esports or event game, because that's a whole other story with esports and fighting games. That there was a meltdown on Reddit this week by one of the FGC, one of the very beloved FGC member had a meltdown on Reddit about esports and how they, sort of poisoned the fighting game community. But this again, it goes back to the tragedy of Marvel's Capcom Infinite. It's unfortunate that this game, it looks like it's just gonna stay like that, and it's gonna, people are just gonna eventually forget about it. But it's a disaster. I heard that there's rumors that they're even streamers like guys like Maximilian, who have a very strong FGC following, and who loves the game, who was out there with Capcom play testing and giving out input and being the voice of the community. He doesn't do Marvel anymore. He doesn't even do Street Fighter anymore. He's only been doing Dragon Ball videos since Dragon Ball came out. And he's been doing Soul Calibur videos after the main announcement of Soul Calibur 6. So, Joe, I don't know. This happened before with Marvel properties. I think that I think they're just being too strict on their licensing. And when you look at the mess that was Battlefront 2, which was an actual real problem. There was no characters. Their characters were being shot, but you had this other microtransaction economy and loot box system going on that was atrocious, and people were. It was a big problem. It prompted politicians to be involved and whatnot. But then when you have something as silly as just you can't see Captain America get knocked down, that why would they do this, Joel?
I think, like you just said, Obed, like this, and you said in the beginning, Lace, I think this is not the only reason there's a lot of issues with this game, but I think this is a prominent one, just because it makes you understand that Capcom kind of had their hands tied with this game.
Yeah,
and they, like, when you can't even market it that way, this just makes me ask the question, what more could have been happening behind the scenes with Marvel saying you can't do this and you can't do that? Their characters didn't look good even at first, just from visually. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. To me, it's like, whoever you are, you're thinking, okay, if I show that, oh, of course this character can beat up this character, then that makes this character look weak. No, it doesn't. It's a video game. Like, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
With all due respect, if you do a Marvel character versus another Marvel character, you watch Captain America Civil War, and spoiler, the movie's been out for a while, Captain America whoops Iron Man around and Bucky together, and they team up on him. Does that make Iron Man like a punt? No. Like, yeah. Iron Man is like one of the in the MCU film wise, he's one of their most powerful characters. So it's like it doesn't change who the character is. It's a narrative, or in this situation, it's just a game. I think it's an overreaction, over carefulness, and I think that I know they've had issues before, Marvel, when it comes, or Disney in general, with some of their games. It's not a good look, and I just hope that they learn from this experience, because I can only imagine what other things could have been going on behind the scenes aside from just marketing materials, character can get beat up. There probably is more to it, and it's not good.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, we like to take jabs at DC because of the absolute mess that the DCEU is, but when credit where credit's due,
yep.
they have done a fantastic job with marketing Injustice 2, commercial wise, putting the game out there in the community outreach. They have done a phenomenal job with Injustice 2, which Injustice 2 was the top fighting game last year, basically, up until Dragon Ball came out. Dragon Ball came out, and then Dragon Ball took over. But Injustice 2 is still pretty high up there, and they kept the community engaged. They reached out. They can show, you can show the Joker beating up Superman, and it doesn't matter because it's a game.
Exactly.
So it's that I think that when it came to both WB Games, NetherRealm, putting their stuff out there for this game, and then DC, of course, putting material out for this game, reaching out not only to the community but to other comic book partners. I don't know if you saw that the Ninja Turtles are now on an Injustice 2, and you got other guys like Hellboy, and man, they did such a great job with that game. Also visually, that game is leaps and bounds over Marvel. Man, that game looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I mean, they can definitely take some cues from this. I really don't blame Capcom. Like you said, to some extent, I do believe that their hands were tied. I know that Capcom is capable of producing a lot higher quality content. Street Fighter V again launched in an awful state right now. Like season 3 or arcade edition is really the real launch of Street Fighter V. Like, this is the actual game. We were play testing for almost 2 years before that. So, but they should learn from WB Games, and man, the community likes these games, and they're passionate about it. Why not just give us a quality product and keep the community engaged, and the rest will come, man. And I don't know. I really, they're being too overprotective. But then when it came to getting, microtransactions and buying cards and all that crap for Battlefront, they were okay. To me, that's really shocking.
Yeah, that's why I joke with you about it. I say sometimes things make too much sense, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why you have to really ask yourself, why not allow these things?
Yeah,
I can't answer.
And moving right along with Marvel, Joel, what happened to Donald Glover and that Deadpool animated show that I was looking forward to?
Yeah, apparently this, a lot of people were looking forward to it. I mean, Donald Glover's fantastic, right? I mean, he's already had you would think already a good relationship with Marvel, being in their animated Spider-Man animated series. He did the voice of Miles, and then
he was in Homecoming.
You have him in the live adaptation, right? So you would think his relationship is good, like I'm just saying. But then when you find out that, unfortunately, there was creative differences, is what's been reported between Donald Glover and Fox. Donald Glover and Marvel, I should say, directly, the two of them. That's what stopped them from just saying, we're not even going to continue with this project because we just can't figure this out, and we want to go different directions, and out of respect to both sides. You have an agenda, I have an agenda. Let's just not try and manufacture this to be a middle ground and it be not good. There was bad rumors going around saying that Donald Glover just doesn't have time for this project. Like, people pull stuff out of the air, I swear. I never even heard. I was like, where are you finding this? He didn't have time for this. Like, if he said he was going to make this, he could make it if he really wanted to. Anyways, he came out purposely and was a rebuttal and released a 14-page script for the show. And people read the script. I didn't read the script, but I know a lot of people read the script, and they said this was such a fantastic script. Like, it's a shame that this show is canceled. Yeah, I mean, I just think that, if there's creative differences, then it's better to separate yourself from this. It's better not to force your way, but just separate. I'm not going to say one's right or wrong. People say, I read the script and Donald Glover was right. I don't know what was going on with Marvel and Fox, so I'm not going to get in the middle of that. If we have more information, that'd be interesting. We all be interested to know, but I don't think that information is ever going to come out, or at least right now in the near future, probably not, and it shouldn't. I mean, whatever was going on, there was the business between them. But yeah, this is not coming, and that's what it is, man. I mean, yeah, at least we got a taste out of it with the script, and with the script. Here's the other thing, Obed. With the script, apparently it actually took jabs at Marvel itself. It took jabs at Taylor Swift. It took jabs at some other random pop culture things. Maybe Marvel was just uncomfortable with some of the jokes, and Deadpool's always been over the top, so maybe they were uncomfortable with that for FX, and they didn't want to, seem competitive with some other properties or something. Maybe they wanted the jokes to be more honed in. I don't know. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably what happened. There were, when it comes to Disney properties, and meaning now Marvel properties on an animated state, I think they're just very careful with the content they put out. And the contrary to DC, again, DC has done really well with their animated features and having a more of a mature type of um, feel to it, and get they do get away with some mature subjects. But I think that Disney/Marvel are being a little more cautious with with the animated content they put out there because of the kids. But you know, I can respect that to a certain extent. But at the same time, I really would have loved to seen this show come out because, like you said, Childish Landino is a pretty cool guy, man. Yeah, I can't wait for Solo. I think he's gonna be like the highlight of Solo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I that's the expectation. Is probably the best part of that movie. Him and maybe the other lady from Game of Thrones. We'll see.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to get around to see this. Um, but Joe, I got a bit of gaming news here. I've always expressed my love for Final Fantasy 15 since since we started the podcast. It's one of my, like, again, one of my favorite games of all time. So the director of Final Fantasy 15, Hajime Tabata, is starting his own studio within Square Enix. So the studio is gonna be called Luminous Productions, and just a little tidbit there. Luminous is the name of the engine that they use for Final Fantasy 15. It was called the Luminous engine, and they are, I guess they're giving him creative freedom. There's like a few slogans that I'm going to share with you guys, that are on the site for the new studios, for the new studio. And one of the sections is our vision, and you got imagine, scheme, obsess, create, iterate, start over, repeat, begin again. That, in a nutshell, Joe, that is Final Fantasy 15, because Final Fantasy 15 got redone twice before it came out. That game was the Final Fantasy Versus 13 concept that came out. There was a tech demo, or a demo that was shown. There was another demo that was completely different shown, and then there was Final Fantasy 15, which, that sequence that they showed during the unveiling on that E3, I believe it was E3 2014. That whole sequence not in the game. There's a sequence, like the events happen, but the sequence as is presented on that trailer is not in the game. So, in a nutshell, this is basically Final Fantasy 15 right here. And then on another section on the same Our Vision, they have imagination has no limits, boundaries can be pushed, an obsessive drive to turn ideas into reality. So based on this, Joel, my speculation is that this is a studio created within Square Enix to create new properties. This is not going to be a Final Fantasy studio. Final Fantasy has its own separate team that handles Final Fantasy projects. This is going to be for a brand new IPs at Square Enix, basically Square Enix Japan, to be more specific. So I'm pretty excited to see what comes out of this, and I'm definitely looking forward to whatever the next Hajime Tabata's next project is. He really stepped in. Tetsuya Nomura of Kingdom Hearts fame was originally the director of Final Fantasy 15, and then rumors came in that he stepped down He probably never really did direct anything in that project. He just came up with concepts. And Hajime Tabata finished the project. Joe, also fun fact, Hajime Tabata, he was the one that finished Final Fantasy 12 that launched originally for the PS2 after the original director had a mental breakdown and had to be like instituted or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the guy, but like he was so involved with this project that he literally went crazy, and Hajime Tabata stepped in and finished the project, and that's why there's missing content on 12.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah.
I love
I'm
this
sorry.
news, man. Like this about this guy stepping in and having this new studio, because like it just means that we get more of that loving Final Fantasy style. That there's a certain like kind of flavor that you get from those games, and that means if there's this new studio is gonna take maybe some of that flavor with them, that means we're gonna have more of those kinds of games. The AAA style games that they said they're gonna go for, but some other fun stuff. So I'm all for this, man. I look forward to see what their announcements are for when they start putting stuff out and start developing things.
Yeah, and Square Enix has money. Like Square Enix, like Final Fantasy 15 did really well, but besides that, Square Enix is making a killing on mobile games in Japan. So, and even here, like they're really pushing their mobile games. Like on YouTube, I would go in and I would get a Square Enix game ad. Like 1 out of 3 ads is for either that Dissidia spinoff they have for mobile, or the other Final Fantasy game that's very, very popular. So yeah, they have the resources to create a new like innovation studio basically, and come up with some new fresh ideas, which goes hand to hand with the renaissance of Japanese gaming that we're actually witnessing, and then that we've seen in the last 2-3 years. So I'm really, really excited for this, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and last bit of news that I have, man, is that Street Fighter is getting a TV series.
I will watch.
You would ask. So this was reported that I don't know, Joel, if you ever watched the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist miniseries that came out. That was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, I really, really liked it. It was really well choreographed. The acting could have been a little bit better, but it did follow the game storyline pretty good. I really enjoyed it. So is the same guys that are behind that were behind the Assassin's Fist project, and they are teaming up with a company called Entertainment One to create a TV series. They are still in the selling part of it. That based on what I heard today. So basically, they're looking at either a network or a service or streaming service to get the rights to this TV series, and apparently they have a pretty decent budget. Like this is gonna be like a legit, fully fledged TV show, based on Street Fighter 2. So this is gonna be based around the World Warrior arc, and of course after that you have plenty of material to go from. So I am really cautiously optimistic because Street Fighter is one of my favorite things ever, and I trust these guys with the project, like the team that were behind this Assassin's Fist project. Those guys were really good, and they really know what they're doing. It just comes to actors, right? They need to find the right actors, and all these characters have such a unique look. Aside from Ryu and Ken, you got Guile with that crazy hair, and Zangief with his muscles, and Sagat is like this super tall Asian guy, which is like non-existent. So I mean, I don't want to say it's non-existent, but you know what I mean, right?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to sound like I'm being racist because I'm not. I'm like
no, you're just
no
you know
one
you're
heard
talking.
racism.
Yeah, you see, you gotta watch what we're actually talking about, and then you'll
Yeah.
know. If you don't know what we're talking about, then you can take it out of context. What I was gonna say to you, Obed, was that so I mean, I saw the information as well, but studio where it's gonna actually air, like on what places are gonna be, being able to watch from. I didn't see that news. Is it gonna be waiting to be picked up by somebody, or?
Yeah, that's basically it. So as of today, they're in the selling process. So they're pitching it to TV studios and in I believe Netflix and Hulu. So we'll see.
Interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be nice for a Netflix, and then you might get some real money. That Netflix is putting recently some real good money behind their production. So
Yeah, and Netflix is looking. It's actually like they're bringing exclusive anime, like they did with Devilman Crybaby, and they did with other things recently. So they're really pulling a lot of exclusive content based around anime and video games too. Like there's several video game documentaries and um, several video game themed movies and all that, and Netflix. So I think Netflix would be the perfect home for this project. And Netflix is a company that it's confident enough where they can throw money around and not feel too bad about it. Amazon would be another great choice. So we'll see. I'm excited if they manage to get the story right, which I think these guys can. It's going to be a good project because Assassin's Fist I really enjoyed.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. Sounds good, man.
But that's all I got, man. Unless you got anything else, I can check for breaking news while you, if you have anything else, man.
Yeah. The last bit of stuff I wanted to cover really quick is that I know Captain Marvel had an official production announcement. Really cool to see a picture of her. She's been researching out on other Air Force bases, and she's in the full Air Force uniform. The actress, I should say, because she's researching for the character. But they officially announced that they've begun production. Even though Obed, we've talked about this a few episodes ago, that we publicly seen they were filming with her in the streets with her in costume, and yet it was just this week they announced the production. We know they've been filming before even the announcement of this production. But was that an Avengers thing, or was that a Captain Marvel thing? Well, only time will tell us. We'll see. But I thought that was interesting. But the most interesting about the announcement, the reason I bring it up, is because of who's been announced to be in this movie. There's a return of Ronan Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser, and also Korath the Pursuer from Guardians of the Galaxy. So remember, this is going to be based in the 90s. So they're going backwards in time. So it's these characters are obviously alive at that time, so that makes sense for them to bring them back, and especially knowing that the premise of this movie is the Skrull-Kree War. So having a major Kree character like Ronan, leading a battle against the Skrulls is going to be really cool. So definitely makes sense to have his character there for that. And then I think the one that's a real big kicker here is that Agent Phil Coulson, Clark Gregg is coming back to reprise his role as Agent Coulson. We've not seen him in any of the movies since his death in the Avengers. So obviously, again, going back in the time makes sense for his character to be there. I would love to see Agent May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to also show up on there too, since they worked very closely together in the past, it's been said. But that's pretty cool because, we haven't seen Coulson in a while, and it'd be cool to see some more of his character on the big screen interacting with the likes of Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson, who's also going to be in this movie, has already been confirmed. Yeah. Another piece of interesting discussion that I want to mention it from now in case something maybe drops in the future is that Shazam, we know it's been filming for a bit, but Henry Cavill, the actor who plays Superman, his manager teased a picture of Henry Cavill in a Superman suit on some type of set filming something, and says that we're working on something really great. To Milan's working on something, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Don't know what it is. Could be a Superman commercial for what we know. Could mean nothing at all, right? Could be,
Could be a Shazam cameo.
That's what the rumors are, is a Shazam cameo.
Okay.
That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. So we'll just have to see. But I thought I'd throw the little nugget out there because we'll see what happens as time.
Yeah, I don't think Shazam can carry a movie by himself. Like, to be honest with you, just because he's a known character to DC fans, but again, he's not super known to a lot of the casual audience. So bringing Superman in would definitely help out with the movie. Also, Joel, where's Man of Steel 2, man? I want to see that.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that the director of Mad Max, George Miller, I was actually hoping that he would. There was rumors that maybe he would actually step in to do Man of Steel 2. That'd be perfect to have him with Brainiac, maybe even bring Supergirl into the mix. I think Man of Steel 2, if you have those kind of strong characters around to give a strong Oscar award-winning director the ability to tell that story, I think you could have a really good Superman movie. I think there's a lot of great material for a darker but also hope-filled character as Superman that Zack Snyder set up. So I look forward to seeing more Superman. And if he's in Shazam, I think if you're marketing that movie, you have a shot. I know not that you don't want to spoil stuff, but still, I think for this case, it would help the marketing. You have a shot of Superman fighting Shazam. I think that right there, like if you have the two of them just going to blows, then absolutely you will have people say, okay, I need to see this movie. What's going on here? Who is this guy?
Yeah. Speaking of George Miller, Joel, did you get to see last week where they released the pictures of his Justice League concept that he had for 2000? He pitched to Warner, I think 2008, 2009. So did you get to see that?
I did the lineup picture. Some of them look a little bit goofy in my opinion, but
it's a concept, yeah.
But it was very traditional. Like he was gonna go very traditional Justice League, like not like where this stuff is more New 52. Like he was gonna go back to some OG Justice League, and I would have been interested to see that movie, especially from someone like him.
Yeah, some of it look really cool. I think, Joel, if you ask me, WB should go, hey, here you go. This is you. That's it. Do a Kevin Feige with him. It's like, this it that you handle this, and we're not gonna get involved. That's what WB should do, and have George Miller carry on the DCEU into hopefully greener pastures.
Yeah, we'll see, right? I mean, you hand it off to one person, Jeff Johns, and now this another individual supposed to be the godfathers of this thing, right? But I think you got to have a film mindset, right? Someone who understands how to make good cinema leading the charge. George Miller should get his chance at making one of these movies. I prefer for a Superman movie over even a Justice League movie, in my opinion, because I think he can tell really strong. I think he'd do a great Justice League, but I think he'd do a really strong singular. Maybe then give him Justice League kind of thing, build up this character, or rebuild Superman if you'd rather. But I'm also not opposed to Patty Jenkins taking the whole thing over either. To tell after one movie, I think that first movie is really, really, really good. But still, we'll see.
Yeah, still staying hopeful for that, man.
No, we're not cashing our checks only for Marvel, guys. See, we got nice things to say.
Yeah, we do.
I think I'm going to wrap it up here, Obed. So I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to us here on No Load Time. If you are listening to us via podcast, we are available on SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes. You can subscribe to us. If you are a subscriber on iTunes, please go ahead and drop us a review. That would help us out. Additionally, if you are watching us, the video version, here we're available on YouTube, No Load Time YouTube channel. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can also subscribe to our channel here, and you can like our videos. You can drop us comments. All that stuff is welcomed and appreciated. We also are on social media, so you can give us a follow, connect with us. We want to connect with you at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. And I also want to let you guys know you can always shoot in any questions, comments, feedback to us. Communicate directly with Obed and myself via email to noloadtime@gmail.com. We thank you guys. You're awesome, and we can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. You guys have a good one.
See ya.